In the course of making these videos, I've learnt many things, especially in the lawful side of things. I mean, one of the things, of course, I would say the top thing is that the all caps name, the name that we get our letters to us, the bills, the utility bills, the demands for payment, all that kind of stuff, is always in the all caps name, isn't it? Block capitals, the same name that's on the passport, the driving licence and all these other documents. I've learnt that that name has been created by the Crown Corporation, and it's not us, even though our parents have given that name away. It's not us. We're not on a piece of paper. We're not impotent. We are living men and women. And I've learnt that there is these two different sort of law systems, one the legalese, the acts and statutes, and the other one which is natural law, the law of the land, of real people, of living men and women. And the acts and statutes, which is all man-made and made up, doesn't really apply to us. The legislation, it's all made by those people who would like to govern us and control us. And it seems to me that there is the simple fact that no man is above another, and that seems pretty obvious, that no man should be above any other. Mere morals and ethics would tell us that. That's in our heart, that's in our soul, and yet we'll find that some men and women feel that they have that power above us, and then they tend to be, of course, in the world of legislation, acts and statutes. But acts and statutes is only dealing with the all caps name. So I've learnt that. It's a long, hard journey, and it's a state of mind. It's getting one's brain over the fact that these people should not, must not have control over us in a way that we don't let them. And so that comes to the other important thing that I've learnt, which is jurisdiction. The jurisdiction, which effectively means that you are giving them your consent to be above you. No man can be above you unless you say so, unless you say, actually, do you know what, I'll give you the jurisdiction, you tell me what to do, I'll make you the boss, I'll be the slave, and I'll obey you. And we can be tricked into that with these acts and statutes very easily without us knowing, because of the way it's been set up. However, it is just a mindset that we need to free ourselves from this, and then there's a certain amount of freedom. Bear in mind, of course, that the people who make the acts and statutes and the legislation, although they'll say these are the rules, they themselves don't obey those rules. And we have seen that many times, in which they break their own rules anyway, and they get away with, well, almost literally murder, don't they? So they are the ones, and of course they have the big sticks. We've given them that. We've given them the jurisdiction to get more and more powerful because we have been misguided. We've been brainwashed. The propaganda has always said, these are the people who are in charge. We only vote for a change of the people in charge, but they're still in charge. You know what the old phrase is, doesn't matter who you vote for, the government still gets in. And the government then changes its manifesto, and we've seen that at the moment with a lot of people moaning and saying, oh, but you know, that's not what I voted for. Well, I wouldn't have bothered voting in the first place. In fact, I didn't. However, people email me all the time, and I'm very grateful for people who do email me. And I must say, if you have emailed me and you've not heard back from me, it's because I get swamped. So many people do email me, and I'll get messages saying, you know, oh, please, Richard, I hope you see this one, and I hope you see this. And I do see some of them, and I try to read most of them, but I can't always reply. And some of them leave me a little bit perplexed, because people treat me as if I'm a lawful expert or a solicitor, you know, and they present their problems. Richard, I'm in this awful mess. This has happened. What can I do to get out of it? And it's like, well, I'm on the same journey, mate. I'm still learning. I'm interviewing all these people, and I put links to all the people that I interview who are open to being approached. And so you really need to approach those people and see if they can help you, because they are the ones that have got the knowledge. I'm still in that process of learning. But it does strike me, and it was actually somebody who emailed me and said this themselves, it is this attitude of mind. Very often people get into this situation, and it's only at the end when they're starting to feel the pressure of the state, of the legislation move in. Perhaps they're being evicted from their house, or their property is being stolen, or they've got bailiffs continually knocking at the door, that they start to think, oh, I better do something about this. And by that point, it's probably a bit late. We've got to change our attitude of mind right at the beginning and accept and understand that these people that want to control us, who live in their legalese world, their acts and statutes, their legislation, that is a made-up world of theatre. And right from the start, we've got to understand that is not the real world unless we enter it with the giving away the jurisdiction. I think it is our own due diligence to completely understand as much as we can about what natural law is, about who we are, whether we are a all caps name that we answer to. We need to lose that fear, and we need to push back, have conditional acceptance on certain things, ask for invoices for things if they are saying we demand some money. Oh yeah, Mr. Bailiff, as you come knocking on the door with a bit of paper that says I owe you the money. Excuse me, in the UK, if we're going to play the UK's game, which by the way is a corporation, in the UK, you should be giving me an invoice. We saw that recently with one about the council tax, especially when it comes to VAT. And by the way, because we've been in the EU, we're still stuck with this value-added tax nonsense. You haven't put what the value-added tax is on this demand, which, by the way, I see from your letterheads, you are a VAT-registered company, and so therefore it is absolutely illegal by your game that you're playing, the legislation game, by not giving me an invoice with the VAT amount. Even if it's 0 rated, you've got to tell me what it is. So go away and come back with an invoice. And as I say, we saw that playing out recently on the channel with the Veronica, who was presenting how she was asking the council tax. Actually, you know, the way that you ask for money is an invoice. And by the way, if you're going to send me an invoice, you'll have to put the order number in. I recently had a case where I was dealing with the council. They wouldn't call me by the name I asked them to call me, so they just called me dear customer. And I had to remind them that I wasn't a customer, actually, because a customer is one that goes in and orders something. Excuse me, I'd like to order some milk and some bread and some cheese. That's a customer. I'm not a customer if you come banging on my door demanding money from me for simply laying down and having a roof over my head within a property that I have bought myself. Thank you very much. I'm not your customer, and don't you dare call me a customer. If I actually ask you to come and take the bins away and change the light bulbs in the street, or fix the potholes, or ask you to put up ugly buildings left, right and centre, or do backhanders so that the farm over there can be turned into a concentration camp of mean houses with mean windows and mean little gardens and nowhere to park and people hugger-mugger on top of each other, then yes, if I've asked for all of that, then I'm your customer. You see, we do need to get into this state of mind. Who are we and who are they to tell us what to do? But we ought to be pushing back their demands as soon as they start to make them, as soon as that council tax bill arrives. What's this about? You want some money? What's it for? Who are you? Just a minute. You're a corporation, aren't you? I'm not a customer of yours. I've never been a customer of yours. What's this for? Itemize it. Send me an invoice. Whatever these things are, you know, you get a speeding ticket. One's got to say, hang on a second, I don't know who this person is that you're writing to, this all caps name. I'm a living man. You're writing to somebody who might have a driving license. This all caps thing has a driving license, but let me assure you that the all caps name has a big problem because it doesn't breathe, it doesn't have any blood, there's no lungs, it has no legs, it has no arms, and consequently it struggles really to get into a car, let alone drive it, and let alone drive faster than the speed that it's supposed to go. It's just a concept. That's it. I'm not it, but I seem to be, for whatever reason, have been put in charge of it, like an agent and an actor. The all caps name is just an actor. You as a living man or woman are the agent of it. It's been dumped into your life. You didn't ask to have it, but it's been dumped into your life, and there you are. So we can take control of it and say, well, I'm acting on behalf of this, but actually you've written to the driver saying that, you've written to the all caps name claiming he was a driver. But I can assure you, it's just a bit of paper. I've looked at this name for many, many years, and never once has it leapt up off the page and done a thing. And yet I'm the one that seems to have to pay for all the bloody misdemeanors that this thing does. It's ridiculous. You try it. Look at your own name. Has it leapt off the page and done anything? I don't think so. So it is a mindset that we've got to get, but we need to do it right at the beginning, when these letters come in and they're making demands and telling us what to do. Because often, if we've acquiesced, if we've tried to push back in a different way, claiming that we are this, by saying, oh yes, no, I appreciate that, yeah, I was driving and I was doing that, we've already given jurisdiction. Right from the start, we need to, in my opinion, is to push back and not give them any quarter whatsoever. And play them at their own game on occasions, and other times absolutely say, well, prove that that's me. I'm a living man with blood and guts and wee and poo. That isn't. Push back and don't get into these situations. So I'm really sorry, I can't always help people when they email in and they say, oh, I'm in this and the kid's about to be taken and I don't know what to do here, or the house is, or I'm about to be evicted. As much as I would love to help, but we've got to get that mindset right at the beginning and stop these things. Now, I know some people say, oh, well, you know, it's great to go into the court and clog up the courts and all of that. But to be honest, I don't want to bother with the courts. I want to absolutely, using the power of the pen, which is mightier than the sword, push back and say, look, actually, this has got nothing to do with me. You're all in theatre land and I'm in the real world. So don't come bothering me. You play your game over there, that's great. But I'm living my life here and I'm thriving. And if more of us did this, the theatre land, if people didn't go to the theatre, this legalese, this acts and statutes and all of that, if people didn't engage with it, the theatre would have to close and go off to another place, and hopefully never perform their nonsense ever again.